Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the Power Over Food podcast. I hope you are well and I hope you've had a great week and that you're ready for Christmas. My week's been incredibly busy. I've been researching and I've been filming for the Power Over Food course that will be launching early next year. So I've not really managed to get any presents wrapped or done much prep for Christmas. But I know it's going to be a really strange one as well, with obviously the COVID restrictions in place. So hopefully we can all enjoy it as best we can this year. And actually, just a thought around Christmas, and I won't go on too much because I know that episode 6 was around Christmas eating, but I just wanted to share something that I have noticed this year. Obviously, we associate Christmas with overindulging anyway, but when you're in weight management, hopefully you become more conscious of this type of eating and the thoughts that we connect with Christmas, that we kind of automatically go to, that it gives us permission to overeat. For me, that's where I am, and I'm not saying I never indulge, but I'm really conscious of it over the Christmas period. But this week I've been feeling a little bit low because we can't do all of the things that we normally do at this time of year. And I'm really missing my friends and social occasions. And while I'm determined to not let it get me down too much and to remain positive and make Christmas an amazing experience for Nancy, who is only 6, so she is literally at the perfect age, I can't help myself feeling more drawn to food than the last few Christmases. So I've tried to explore my thoughts and my feelings around this. And what I've noticed is my sloth brain is really kind of trying to trip me up, and he's saying you can't go out, so you may as well enjoy food. It's like it's the only pleasure I've got. You haven't got to look good when you're going out. You don't need to put on nice outfits because you're not going anywhere. So it doesn't really matter what fits. It doesn't matter if you put a few pounds on and you feel uncomfortable. And then there's the whole, it's been a rubbish year for everybody and we're all in the same boat. So if you can't enjoy food, what can you enjoy? And these, it's really, really crooked thinking. And my adult voice, my logical, balanced thinking, that says, well, actually, I'll enjoy Christmas far more if I don't feel bloated and if I get to January without being half a stone heavier. Because actually, if I wake up on January the 1st and I feel really pleased with the food choices I've made, then that will just top my Christmas off to being a really good Christmas. Whereas if I wake up in January and I feel miserable about myself and what I've eaten, and miserable about the fact that we're probably still going to be in some sort of lockdown, then it's not actually going to be as enjoyable. So I just wanted to share those thoughts. And I always say to my clients, what is Christmas about? Food aside, what is Christmas about to you? And obviously, for most people, it's about that time with their family. It's about giving presents. It's about, if you've got children, seeing their faces and making that magical experience for them. And even if you can't see all of the people that you want to see this Christmas, don't replace it with food, because we can't replace not seeing grandparents by eating. It's not the same thing, and your sloth brain might tell you it is, but it really isn't. So yeah, they're just my thoughts. Don't replace what we can't do with eating even more than you normally would at Christmas, because being heavier in the new year is only going to make you more unhappy if you are trying to lose or maintain your weight. And something I've been trying to do is keep visualising January and imagining waking up in January and how I feel depending on the choices that I've made. So I could bounce out of bed on the 1st, 2nd of January and put on my skinny jeans and feel pleased that I've maintained through the festivities, that I have enjoyed food, but not to a real excessive amount. Or I could drag myself out of bed feeling gutted that I need to go back and take off some weight again. Something I try to remember is that I never regret not eating something. I never wake up on the 1st of January and think, gosh, I wish I'd have eaten more mince pies this year, or I wish I'd have had another slice of cake or finished off that cheese board. We know what the food tastes like, and yes, enjoy it, but you don't need to keep going and just keep eating it, which tends to be what we do at Christmas. Okay, so actually having said all of this, despite my good intentions, despite being in weight management for 15 years, I often still fall into this trap. So let's see how we go. I'll update you in the new year. Anyway, moving on, today I wanted to talk about being kind to yourself, because we tend to be our own worst enemies, and most people are automatically down on themselves, whether it's about weight or whether it's about other things in our life. So take the example of making a mistake. If my friend made a mistake, I would be really forgiving of her, and I would tell her not to worry about it, that it's human nature and people make mistakes all the time. Yet, if I make a mistake, I can often spend days beating myself up and criticising myself. I get really, really frustrated and cross about it. And often when I'm feeling that way, I am more likely to overeat because I push down those emotions with food. Now, in weight loss, I think being kind to yourself is really, really important. And I'm sure you're familiar with the cycle of you have enough day with food, you overeat, and then you beat yourself up and feel even worse about it. And when you feel worse, then your sloth brain tells you you've blown it and you may as well eat some more. So let's imagine that you don't have these unhelpful thoughts and feelings. Imagine if you actually said, do you know what? I've overeaten. It's okay. I've made some not great choices, but tomorrow I'll make different choices, and that's okay. Because actually, that's what I would say to my friend. If she said to me she felt awful because she'd eaten so much, I would say, don't worry about it. Learn from it. Just do something different the next day. And remember, this isn't just about being kind to ourselves around food. It's just in general. Do you tell yourself things like you're stupid because you forgot to do something? Or do you tell yourself that you're no good at something without actually even trying it? Do you do that? Because I do. I say to myself, oh no, I could never do that. And it's like, I sometimes catch myself and think, well, who said you can't do that? Have you ever tried to do it? You might actually be really good at it. Now, I was thinking that in general, we are kind to other people. And is this because this is like something we're taught from a really early age? We are taught growing up that it's really important to be nice to people in the playground. It's a big part of our learning to be respectful, kind and helpful, to look after friends, to go and chat to somebody if they're sitting on their own. You know, I always say to my little girl, if you see somebody on their own, then go and ask if they want to join in, go and ask if they want to play, because I would hate the thought of her sitting on her own and nobody playing with her in the playground. But if you think about it, we're never actually taught to be kind to ourselves. We're just not, I don't know if we're even taught to like ourselves very much. In fact, depending on how you've been brought up, you might have even been taught to play down any achievements and kind of not really make a big thing about it. There's a common saying from when I was young that nobody likes a show off, yeah? People get jealous. Don't go out and tell everybody that this has happened or that we're going on holiday, because some people don't like it. Some people don't want it shoved down their throat. So nobody likes a show off. But that means, like, you know, when you achieve something really good, you don't want to shout about it. You don't want to tell people because you don't want to show off if that's what you've been kind of brought up to believe. And I think sometimes that might add to, you know, not liking yourself too much, not wanting to be proud of your achievements. First of all, there's many, many reasons why we should be kind to ourselves. And again, not just about weight loss. First of all, there's no mileage in beating yourself up. There is no mileage in criticising yourself. It's not going to get you anywhere. Secondly, it's really important for our mental health. It's shocking, but I think it's 1 in 4 people suffer with their mental health every year. And actually, it's probably a lot more this year with all the lockdowns. But sadness and lacking in self-confidence, it's very, very common. So being kinder to ourselves can help with those thoughts, the thoughts of and feelings of being inadequate, of not being good enough. Being kind to yourself also means that you become more positive in general, which in turn can mean that you sleep better, that you're able to concentrate on tasks better, and that it's easier to brush off other people's negativity because mentally you are in a better place. Also, you become kinder to other people because if you're in a better place with yourself, we set a better example to our children and we're not so critical of others because we're in a better place ourselves. Because I often find that people are negative towards other people when they're not in a good place themselves. In general, life is just more fun if you are kinder to yourself. So, how can we learn to be kind to ourselves? Well, I was thinking about this last night and I thought, I guess it takes a lot of practice if it's something that you've never been taught to do. A little bit like weight management. If you've never been taught how to manage your weight, it takes years of practice. I also think it's about being compassionate towards yourself, not just being kind to yourself, but kind of having a deeper understanding of your thoughts and how you're feeling and being able to acknowledge your feelings rather than just brushing them aside. And I think a big thing is also noticing your negative self-talk and how unhelpful it is. When I used to run groups, I always used to say one of the biggest things is catching yourself talking negatively to yourself or any unhelpful thoughts around food. And then the second thing is actually challenging those thoughts and dealing with them. So first of all, you catch yourself in the act when you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm stupid," or I'm weak, or I had a client the other day and she said about 7 times in the conversation, "Yeah, but I'm really weak." And I kept catching her and saying, "You're saying it again, that you're really weak. And actually, you have lost 2 stone in about 10 weeks. How does that make you weak? I think that's incredible. I think you're really, really strong." Yeah, I know, but I'm probably going to eat at Christmas. I'm going to overeat. But that's okay. Why are you putting these pressures on yourselves? Why are you telling yourself that you are weak and that you're going to do awful over Christmas? Yeah, I suppose it's about being realistic and balanced with your thoughts, thinking, are these thoughts helpful? But the reason I use the example of the client is because quite often people will say things in their conversations about themselves and they don't even realise they're doing it. We don't realise we say, yeah, well, don't ask me to do that because I'm rubbish at those things. And we put ourselves down without even realising it. I think something that alerts you to some of your thoughts might be trying to work out from your feelings. So if you notice that you're experiencing an uncomfortable feeling, I don't know, let's say that you're at work and you feel frustrated, you feel a bit narked and you're not really sure why, then try and work out, why am I feeling this way? What are the thoughts going on in my head? What am I telling myself in this situation? And jot them down, because quite often the thoughts will be unhelpful and unrealistic. And then you can work through questions like, is there another way of looking at this situation? What would my best friend say to me in this situation? Another way of thinking about being kind to yourself is thinking about things that you really like doing and that make you feel good. Because if you feel good and you're in a better place, it's easier to kind of be kinder to yourself. So any self-care that you do, that you know, whatever is your self-care routine, whether it's taking your makeup off at night, whether it's having long baths, whether it's painting your nails, whether it's going for a pamper, seeing your friends, I think that really boosts us. That's part of our self-care, that social interaction that we all need. Spending time doing things that you love doing. Make sure you plan time in your week for you, Because quite often we can get to the end of the week, we can get to the end of the month, and we've not had any time for ourselves. And I think, especially if you've got children or if you've got quite a high-powered job, our children come before us, our job, our boss comes before us, our partners come before us. And when we are not looking after ourselves, eventually we're not good for other people, because we can't keep giving if we've got nothing left to give. So it's really important that you do make time for yourselves. Just another thought as well is, do you brush off compliments? Because so many of us, we kind of throw the compliment back. So if somebody says, oh, you look really good today, have you had your hair done? Oh no, I haven't washed it. So it's kind of like you don't even take on board when other people are being kind to you, because you just brush it off. So watch out for that. Maybe just practice saying, oh, thank you, yes. Not oh, this old thing, I've had it years, but oh yeah, thanks, yeah, you like my top, oh thank you, I like it too. Yeah, so try accepting the compliments. And finally, I think it's also about recognizing that you are doing the best job you can right now. We are all human, we are not perfect, and that is okay. In fact, it's actually a good thing. Imagine how boring life would be if we was all perfect, if we didn't make mistakes. It would be like that film, is it Stepford Wives or something? Might have got that wrong, but where they're all kind of like mechanical machines, just, everything is perfect in that world. And that's not real life. Making mistakes is a necessary part of our journey. So if you make a mistake, be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you overindulge this Christmas, it's okay. Just, go in doing the best you can do. And I'm just going to leave you with a quote from Oscar Wilde. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. So I hope that's been really helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to connecting with you on social media. Please feel free to ping me a message if there's something you would like me to cover. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And please do share this podcast with other people if you're finding it useful. Please leave me a review, write a couple of notes about how you're finding the podcast, how it's helping you. Have a great Christmas, enjoy the festivities. Hopefully it will be even better than a normal Christmas, because we'll all go over the top and do extra special things for each other. And be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the new year.